I ignore my wife's demands. Why? Because she's demanding that I prioritize her over my sickly father that I'm watching after. She's demanding that I buy her some luxurious handbag, when in reality, I need that money for my father's medical expenses. Well, let's just go ahead and cut to the chase. I'm going to divorce her, and she thinks she's gonna hire some hotshot lawyer and take me to the washer in court. But I have a little trick up my sleeve.
Hey guys, this is John. The title says it all, but I wanted to give you all a bit of background because I'm in a predicament and I'm at my wit's end. I don't know where else to turn. Up until recently, I was in what I had thought was a successful marriage. My wife Kate has always been a bit spoiled and entitled, and I've been so hopelessly in love for so long I was blind to just how much I'd enabled her to become this way. From the moment we got engaged, I allowed her to quit her job and just let me take care of her. I was happy with the arrangements, or as happy as I could be, taking care of an adult who contributes little to the household. Like I said, I've been in love with Kate and blind to all her flaws. But lately, something terrible's happened in my life. Without getting into too many personal medical details, my father, we'll call Tim, 70 male, has been diagnosed with a chronic and life-threatening illness that requires him to have near constant care from me. Dad's been in poor health for a while, but things have progressed and are getting worse and worse. I'm all the family my father has left. My mother passed away long ago, and I'm an only child, and all the other family members live too far away or have already passed. I did what any decent son who cares about his father would do, and I decided to do everything in my power to help out my dad. The doctors have informed me that it's quite likely my father will die from this illness, so I'm devoting as much time and money and attention towards him as I possibly can to make sure my father's final days on this planet are peaceful and full of love. I thought Kate would understand this, as my empathetic human being with a heart would. But ever since I started spending a lot of time, and more importantly money, on my father, Kate's been acting cold and distant. As my father's medical expenses have mounted over time, I have occasionally given Kate less allowance money for her to go shopping and drinking with her girlfriends. And this started creating problems within the marriage. Frankly, at first, I dismissed Kate's bizarre and distant behavior as mere mood swings because I was so preoccupied with caring for my father. I soon found out what Kate was truthfully upset about, though. She had no concern for the health and well-being of my dad the entire time. All she cared about was the money. One day, we got into a heated argument, because Kate said I needed to buy her a brand new expensive handbag, and I told her no. And I realized I've never told Kate no before after I said that word, because the way she blew up and started screaming at me was like something out of a horror flick. Our argument over the expensive handbag got so out of hand, I decided to give her some time to cool off while I went to stay at my father's place. This way I could focus on him directly and give Kate the space that she needed, but as I sat at my father's house, tending to his care and staying up all night with him just to give him some company and show my love and appreciation for him, I could not help but start dwelling on the situation with Kate. Was I really married to a woman so heartless that she would sooner demand I buy her a handbag rather than help out, well, with the medical expense my father has incurred? The least she could do is wish my father well. But like I said, she had no concern whatsoever for his health, and for Kate to pile on all this unnecessary stress and drama on me when I'm already under a mountain of pressure tells me Kate must not care much for me either. I did not like these thoughts I was having, but I started thinking about how so much of my money had been flying out the window. My bank accounts were being drained quickly, even before my father's illness manifested. I started getting suspicious and paranoid. I decided to take a close look at my bank statements and financial records, something I've not done in far too long. Much to my disappointment, but not so much to my surprise, I could see, clear as day, where Kate was simply spending me out of my house and home. As silly as it may sound, this Kate did not resemble the woman that I fell in love with all these years ago, and perhaps I was merely too in love to see that Kate had been using me for my money. I did not want to believe it, but the bank statements simply do not lie. It certainly looked as if Kate was merely using me as her own personal credit card. I tried to think of the last time Kate had ever done anything nice or romantic for me. It's always my job to take her out, buy her expensive stuff. I never give gifts or even nice gestures for my efforts. She doesn't give me anything. I knew I needed a game plan before I went back home and confronted Kate about her ridiculous spending levels. I was suspicious that she would try to start the problems for me if I blew up too loud or did not keep my cool. I wanted to be calm and collect when I approached Kate about the spending, so I called up my lawyer friend Bobby. I've known Bobby for years. He's one of the best lawyers around, and I would have been a fool not to consult with him first. I explained this whole depressing and frustrating situation to Bobby, and he was understanding and supportive as a friend, but he was also frank and honest in his assessment of Kate. He told me that, although I might not want to hear this, he was right, I didn't. Kate very much fit the profile of the type of woman who might threaten divorce and threaten me with financial ruin if I confronted her about money. Well, Bobby suggested that before I have this important discussion with my wife, I establish several trust funds and secret accounts just to ensure that both myself and my father had our assets secure from Kate's vengeful and spiteful personality. Even though I did not want to believe my wife would be so cruel and callous, I had to accept that Bobby was likely correct in his view of the matter. I immediately called my bankers and investment people and had them help me protect my money. Bobby also suggested I keep giving some money to Kate so as not to arouse suspicion or make her do anything rash. I agreed. I finally came home after taking a few days away, and as soon as I walked in the door I could see that Kate was still upset. She didn't even greet me or ask me how I was doing. Typical selfishness. All I could do was smile because I was about to drop a bombshell on her. I produced paper evidence in hand of her financial records. I made extra copies in case she tried to destroy it. I carefully started telling Kate about how we need to discuss her spending on luxurious and frivolous items. Immediately, I could sense Kate started to tense up and twitch. I told her that she needed to contribute to the household and start being an equal, participating partner in this marriage. I told her if she was not willing to help me with my father's illness and my time of need, we would need to work on our marriage, and I was calm and mature the whole time. Of course, Kate started screaming and yelling, calling me names and demanding this and that, just like she always does. That's when she dropped the bombshell on me. It turns out, Bobby was correct in his assessment of Kate's personality. She said it clear as day during the argument she wanted a divorce. She even added that she would get the most expensive handbag in the world once the divorce proceedings were over. Well, guys, if you're still here with me, I'm coming to you all for help. Should I try to smooth things over with Kate? Part of me is actually wondering if I am the a-hole. Did I make too big of a deal out of this situation with my father? Do you think I should proceed with divorce and get my revenge on her, or no? I'll take any advice I can get because I'm so upset right now. I'm currently staying at my father's house because I still have to take care of him on top of all this other drama, and I feel like I'm in over my head right now. Update number 1. Hey guys, it's John again, and I have an update for everyone. First, I'd like to thank you who left kind, supportive comments. I received a lot of great advice as well. After considering everything you all said, I've decided that it is indeed in my best interest to sever my marriage with Kate. I have to admit, I still love her right now because this is all so fresh, but this marriage simply can't continue. Kate is never going to change, and I have to leave and make sure she does not take all my money. If Kate gets all my money in divorce court, I won't have a penny left to help my ailing father, and we both will be on the streets. I have another thing I wanted to share with everybody. I wish I could say I'm surprised, but hey, I'm not. Nevertheless, I did not need this extra stress today, so I just told you all that I decided to go through with the divorce with Kate, but today I got a letter in the mail that appeared to have already made this difficult decision for me. While I've been grieving in between taking care of my father, it seems Kate has already hired the best divorce lawyer in town. I won't say his name because we live in a small town and he's very recognizable and a flamboyant figure. I can tell Kate means business. If she's willing to hire this lawyer, she must have every intention of taking me to the cleaners and stripping me of every penny I've earned. Another thing that bothers me is the particular lawyer Kate hired is a public figure who always makes a spectacle out of the trials. I did not want my private life to become the subject of town gossip, but it appears Kate has no shame and likely wants to string my name through the mud. And what if my dad hears about this? This type of stress and attention would be enough to give him a heart attack because he's so frail and, well, unhealthy to be honest with you. So, does anybody have any advice? I still want to divorce Kate, but maybe I should try to patch things up first. I just don't want to deal with the big courtroom drama with Kate's lawyers. It might sound silly, but the guy is infamous for taking husband's money. Update number 2. Hey guys, I am actually back with another update. I've read everybody's advice and decided to proceed with the divorce as I said I was going to. While I'll admit, Kate's lawyer briefly scared me into giving up because he's such a well-known and infamous figure in town, after reading everybody's comments, I got here and I decided to stick to my guns and have some dignity. Kate has already done more than enough permanent damage to burn the bridge. If she doesn't want to put effort into this marriage, I'm through with her. I decided to call Bobby and give him the news. Frankly, it was a bit embarrassing telling Bobby that he was right about every bit of what he had told me in the first post, but I also had to thank him for suggesting that I do whatever I can to protect my money. We chatted a bit, and he was consoling. That's when I asked him the big question. I asked Bobby if he would be willing to represent me in court. He said, of course. But then I told him who Kate had hired as a lawyer, and Bobby briefly sounded hesitant and said, wow, she really does mean business, man. Bobby said that out loud to me, and that was exactly what I had said when I saw the letter. Bobby finally decided that both Kate and her lawyer needed to be taught a lesson, and he agreed to take the case. We started discussing evidence that we could use in court against Kate that would expose her for who she really is. I told Bobby I have multiple copies of the financial statements that proved Kate's reckless spending, and I also had recordings of the recent arguments that I had with Kate. I normally would never record our conversations without telling her, because that would be an invasion of privacy, but I felt like I needed to get these conversations on recording, just in case she tried anything funny. And, well, she ended up doing exactly that. After discussing all this with Bobby, we both felt more confident that we might have a shot in court against the daunting lawyer Kate hired. So, guys, right now I'm just feeling anxious, I'm feeling nervous. I just wanted to get this recent development off my chest, and I know Kate and her lawyer probably have more tricks up their sleeves, so I need to be ready and prepared for whatever can come next. Update number 3. Hey guys, thanks for reading this far. It's John with yet another update. It's been a little while since my last one, and I know But the court system moves quite slow, as many of you have realized, and I wanted to fill you on with what happened today. Today was my first court date of the divorce proceedings between me and Kate. Bobby was with me by my side in court, and just as Kate's lawyer was with her. I don't want to sound unconfident, but I'll be honest with all of you. My first court date was a disaster. Kate's lawyer did what he's infamous for around my town. He was flamboyant, over the top and distracting. The actual court proceedings were not even underway yet, and when Kate's lawyer gave an opening statement, he started personally attacking me in front of everybody. Bobby did not even get a chance to defend me from these accusations, and it was all I could do to not jump out of my chair and hit Kate's lawyer in the face. I just had to sit there while this guy lied about me, and Kate sat there with this smug grin on her face, and I recognized it very well. It was the same face she made whenever she got her way. She clearly thought she was winning this court case. The worst part was, Kate's lawyer tried to make it sound as if I was the one who had been neglecting her. I could not believe what was being said. The judge just sat there listening intently as if a prophet was speaking. Then Kate's lawyer asked if Kate could have a chance to go to the stand and make her own statement about me. I could feel my heart beating, and I was so tense because I knew she was about to spread a bunch of lies about me to the public. Sure enough, that's exactly what she did. She started talking about how mean and abusive I am, and how she finally got the courage to divorce me and get away so she could get safety. She even made herself start crying on the stand, and her lawyer had a handkerchief ready for her to use. It just added dramatic effect for sure, and I have no doubt it'll have an effect on the jury and the judge. Bobby and I left the courtroom with a bad feeling today. I can't believe things are going so wrong already. Update number 4. It's me again, guys. I have yet another update about my divorce court proceedings. If you read my last update, you'll know that I had my name slandered across the entire court session by Kate and her money-hungry lawyer. But during today's court session, Bobby and I were given the chance to strike back. You all should have witnessed the look on Kate's face when me and Bobby walked into the courtroom. We spent all morning gathering up documents and evidence of Kate's selfish behavior. We were almost late for court because we had so much to sift through. I walked in with a giant binder full of evidence, and I could see that she was definitely nervous. Immediately, Kate's lawyer tried to file an objection by saying that we were trying to admit evidence that should not be admissible, but the judge agreed to let me and Bobby speak. First, we both explained to the court that my father was sick and in poor health, and that's why I had been, quote, neglecting Kate. But we proved that there was no neglect at all. We showed copies of Kate's spending records and financial statements to the courtroom, and we also showed that her spending increased after my father became ill. Then we played tapes in court of the arguments between me and Kate, and they were difficult to listen to. Not for me, because I kept my cool and was calm in the tapes, but Kate sounded unhinged, and I could tell she was losing the favor of the courtroom. The tapes revealed that Kate was refusing to help me with my father's expenses and was essentially divorcing me over an expensive handbag. Not a great look for her. Then we brought in the most important weapon we had in our arsenal. Bobby asked to call a witness to the stand. The witness was my father. Me and Bobby helped get him to the witness stand with his cane, and I knew my dad was feeling bad and did not want to deal with this today, but he also wanted to do anything he could to help me and get back at Kate for how she treated me. My father explained to the courtroom all the selfishness that he had witnessed from Kate, word for word. He said that even before he was sick, he knew Kate was entitled and only interested in my money. I could tell the courtroom was absolutely stunned. The judge ended the session and said that he would need time to think about what he had heard. Update number 5. Hey guys, it's John, and I just have one more update for everybody here. Thank you for sticking with me. Well, it turns out evidence of me and Bobby admitted to court that day in my last update was just what we needed. We won. The judge and jury were swayed, and most by my father, who garnered the most sympathy from basically everyone. Even the judge admonished Kate for her heartlessness personally, and normally the judge is supposed to remain neutral in these type of situations. He read the verdict to the courtroom and Kate burst into tears. The judge ordered Kate to vacate my home and allow me to move back in, and she would be given a small alimony sum, but would receive none of my assets or belongings. The judge also ordered that since Kate had lied so much in court and had been exposed as a liar, the judge said Kate would have to keep a job for at least a full year, or else she would be placed in jail for contempt of court. I was ecstatic. Of course, I was grateful for Bobby's help, and I was still upset that my marriage had failed, but I was glad to be rid of Kate. As for what I'm up to now, I have a beautiful new girlfriend who's the polar opposite of Kate. She's generous and caring and does special things for me that Kate would have never done. I'm so in love with her. We have an equal and respectful partnership, and I plan on marrying her someday. The best news of all is about my father. Shortly after the court date, my father's cancer. Wow, it went into remission. Yes, that's right. My father had terminal cancer the entire time, but we were able to get chemotherapy for him, and he immediately started getting back healthy. As of typing this, my father is 100% cancer-free and starting to act like his old self again. Guys, I could not have gotten through this without your help. I know you're all strangers on the interwebs, but your kindness and support and all your great advice helped me pull through one of the darkest times in my life. And for that, I'm so grateful.
Well, it looks like another case of karma. Kate got exactly what she deserved, and I just felt bad for John during this whole thing, because he was trying to look after his father, who was sickly, but the best news came at the end of the story when we found out his father had beaten cancer and is 100% free of it. So that's probably the best news about this story, and the second best news is karma decided to come for Kate because she's getting just a little bit of alimony, and that's it. I would like to hear from you guys. What do you make of this story? If you were in John's position, would you have changed anything, or would you have done it exactly like this? I'm just glad OP had Bobby in his corner, who was not only a good lawyer, but a good friend. So guys, drop your opinions in the comment section. If you're new to the channel, my name's Mr. Reddito. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I post stories every single day. So hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one, and remember, it's cool to be kind.